What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls 2. Right off the bat, we're going to notice something pretty cool that they added to Dark Souls 2, which is that the poison liquid actually sticks to you. So if you run through puddles in this game, the liquid is going to stick to you, and if it's poison, the poison keeps building up until you shake it off.
Are you a traveller? I'm Chloanne, an ore-stone trader. I travel about collecting rare stones, which I sell to make my living. I never planned to visit this God's forsaken place. But I don't know. I just sort of ended up here. I must have just wandered in. But now that I'm here, I've been scouting around for rare bits. Oh, don't look at me like that. Many of these stones are quite useful. For instance, certain stones are used in smithing. Oh, now your ears prick up. I've extras if you can pay. This is my trade, after all.
Alright, let's check out her stock. She sells bonfire ascetics, and right now she'll sell 10 titanite shards and a few hexes and miracles, but
I came here in
not
search
really
of rare
important.
stones, but the place is nothing like I was told. All this poison, and you can't get very far inside. Don't just go haplessly wandering about. These stones may look all the same, but to the trained eye, each is unique. Some of them are used to smith weapons and armor, and some unique stones provide special benefits. Some of them are extremely rare and should be used with great thrift. None of the differences are easily spotted, but I've learned quite a lot, really. Drang Lake. How is it that I ended up here? It's funny. I can't seem to remember. I've searched every nook and cranny here. I suppose it's time to move on. Perhaps we'll meet again, if we live that long. I've searched every... Perhaps we'll meet again.
Alright, that's enough from you. Chloanne is the blacksmith's daughter, Leningrast's daughter. And she is really, really important because, as her fascination with unique stones suggests, she is an upgrade material merchant. She sells, I think, every upgrade stone in the game, including twinkling titanite, petrified dragon bones, and the infusion stones like the raw stone, poison stone, dark night stone, all that stuff. Also, in this Poison Valley here, you can collect a lot of titanite shards. The fact that Chloanne sells all this titanite makes it a little bit... It might not be necessarily worth the risk coming down here, because you will endure poison a couple of times, but you can get titanite chunks down here. She sells, I think... What is it? It's a limited supply of everything except 3 things. So she does sell petrified dragon bone. She sells twinkling titanite, like I said. I think she's limited by the end of the game to 3 of any of those. But titanite shards, large titanite shards, and chunks of titanite, she, as you progress through the game and exhaust all of her dialogue, all that stuff is unlimited. Also, what are you doing, skeleton? I was not done monologuing. Alright, and there's this little back entrance to Gavlan. What's up, Gavlan? Oh, no. Skeleton. I was about to talk to my buddy. Don't interrupt us.
Gavlan knew you.
Yep. Man of many words. Gavlan sells, I believe... Let's see, the Ring of Giants, poison arrows, poison moss at 1,500 per. And given where we are, I would say the man of many words here. He knows his macroeconomics. 1,500 souls per poison moss. Oh, and we get some raw stone, which is the stone you use to infuse items with the raw upgrade, or the raw infusion, I guess. They're basically the ascensions from last game, or just the straight-up upgrades from Demon Souls. They actually bear more resemblance to the Demon Souls upgrades because you get stuff like raw stone and whatnot, as opposed to the colored Titanite from Dark Souls 1. But we actually haven't unlocked either the Ember we need to check that out, to start infusing weapons. We haven't collected the Ember, and we also have not gone back to Steady Hand McDuff in the Lost Bastille to open up his pathway anyway. Where you get the Ember to start infusing weapons is actually in the level that we're heading towards. We're heading through the Harvest Valley and the Earthen Peak in order to get to the Iron Keep. And that is where the Ember is going to be located, on top of our stated goal. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not good. So over here, we duck into this little alcove. We have another bonfire waiting for us. This one's tucked away a little bit. Can be tricky to find, but as long as you're being a little bit careful, you should notice the branching path and get through there. Now this is an area that kind of screws me up a little bit because there are like 5 or 6 of these little pitfalls. They all lead to minor treasures. I think there's a couple good things in here. What screws me up though is it's like impossible to see where you're going, so you just kind of have to follow the wall until you get out. This is a very, very short level. There's not too much else to do in here. There are quite a few interesting features towards the end of the level, and there are a couple of things that I'm gonna miss because they're not terribly important. I want to say that's Titanite up there. It's Titanite or maybe a flame butterfly. Either that or it's something really important that I'm just forgetting what it is and how to get to it. Either way, don't think we're... Well, let's see. Yeah, okay, I am glad I came in here. Yeah, human effigy and a large Titanite shard. Okay. I think that's another large Titanite shard in the distance, or one of those two things is. I'm not gonna delve back into the poison mist. These guys totally look like model swaps of Smo, which is an odd coincidence because I'm going to be talking about Smo again in a couple of minutes. So remember what I was saying about liquid coating you in the beginning? This goes for water in some cases. This goes for the poison fluid in the urns and in some of the murky lake areas. I believe enemies who are coated in that stuff can also confer it onto you. So I think if the Smo model swap back there, who had bursted through the poison urns and been coated in the poison himself, I think if he had touched me, maybe a little bit more, I would have probably been coated in that poison. Not entirely sure about that. Here it is. Praise the sun. What is this sunlight altar doing here? Let the debate begin. So is this area a far future version of the Undead Burg? Or is it just a different sunlight altar? Either way, the Sun Bros are back. We get the praise the sun gesture. Fucking awesome. The heirs to the sun, the new Sun Bros. Once again, this covenant is all about encouraging more frequent, jolly cooperation. And there's actually a bit of controversy surrounding some stuff you get for ranking up in this covenant. Because if you remember, Dark Souls 1 implies that Solaire could have been the firstborn son of Lord Gwyn. But that's kind of left ambiguous. Nothing in-game in Dark Souls 2 mentions that relationship. However, the official guide, which contains lore information based on internal documents provided by From Software themselves, states in some pretty clear language that Solaire is in fact the firstborn son of Gwyn. And I've read the page in the guide that states that, but I cannot, for the life of me, I have not been able to find that page again. But the controversy has to do with the fact that it's not coming from an official in-game source. And I think there might also be some issue with some inaccuracies contained within the guide. I haven't noticed anything that's particularly inaccurate about it. If anyone wants to clue me in about what those inaccuracies are, just leave a comment. But yeah, it seems mostly official that that Solaire is the firstborn son of Gwyn. Although I will add the disclaimer that if it's not in game, it's not necessarily canon. It's not canonical. I add that disclaimer not because I'm like a canon Nazi like some people are, like, that's not canon! It's actually because there was something similar in Dark Souls 1 that was left out of the game, where Andre of Astora was intended to be the firstborn son of Gwyn, and there was some dialogue in the game that was cut out, and that, along with it, any solid connection between the two was cut with it. So it's not, if it's not in game, there's reasonable doubt. So we have a couple more of these poison beetles. We first saw them back by the Ant Queen in the gutter. I've heard some interesting things about the Ant Queen that I can't confirm myself right now. I've actually heard that the mist that the Ant Queen spews out doesn't cause durability damage. I've heard that it actually... I've heard a couple of different things about it. I've heard it heals you slightly, I've heard it heals your durability slightly, and a couple of other, like, way more outlandish things I'm pretty certain are not true. The fog gate is pretty close by, but we still have a couple of things we can grab. I did get the Estus Flask shard in here. I think there is a mimic in this room that I'm heading into. And then we can get started on the boss. I want to say this is a mimic. Can I see teeth? Oh, I think I just whiffed that. No, ooh. I mashed the button and almost destroyed the chest. Oh, it's not a mimic, it's a poison trap, though. So what do I get for enduring? Oh, a torch. Great. Risk getting poisoned, receive a torch. 5 minutes on a torch. Ah. So, let's go with the Covetous Demon. This giant Jabba the Hutt dude. If you notice, by the way, on the ceilings, there are urns. If you have a ranged attack, you can actually knock those out of the sky, or off of the ceiling, rather. They're not just suspended in midair. They contain hollows, and they can distract the Covetous Demon. The hollows will. Also, if you can manage to line it up and nail him with one of the urns, if you knock it down with a ranged weapon, they'll stun him for a little bit, so that's kind of cool. Unfortunately, I forgot to equip a ranged weapon, so I can't show that off. Covetous here is not threatening at all. He does have one really nasty attack, though. He has this attack where he grabs you and he swallows you whole. And when you get spit up by him, all of your equipment is unequipped. The first time he hit me with it, I thought he literally took my armor or something, like he swallowed my armor, or something that would just be absurdly bullshit. In most games, that notion would be completely absurd. You actually have to take a second in this one, though, in this series, and go, would they really do that to me? Maybe. Not gonna dismiss that possibility. Let's talk to Lucatiel.
Still on the road, are you? Sorry to have burdened you so. This is for you. by way of an apology. I found my thoughts growing hazy. My memories are fading, oldest first. The curse is doing its work upon me. I am frightened. Terribly so. If everything should fade, what will be left of me? I had an older brother. We learned to fence together. He became the most decorated swordsman in all of Mira. I never even compared to him. In fact, I never beat him. Not once. But then, one day, he was gone. Lost without a trace. Now I'm certain that he was taken by the curse. If only someone would hear my tale. My brother must have come here, too. Soon I may forget even about him. If only my brother, soon.
Thank you for the sad tale, Lucatiel. Really enjoy hearing her story. Also, I think that's the first reference to her brother, which is going to be important later. Anyway, back to Covetous, though, since that was such a short fight, didn't get to talk much about him. There was this cool theory on Reddit that I was reading a couple of hours ago, that the Covetous Demon is Smo transformed, and that theory is based primarily on Covetous Demon's gluttony. And the description for the Bone Scythe, which is something you get by trading his soul, the description for that weapon says that it's not a sharp scythe, but rather it's meant to grind bone. And Smo's hammer says something along those lines, like Smo was a cannibal who ground the bones of his victims so he could eat them. It's a cool theory, but really though, it just seems like a little bit of straw grasping and coincidence based on how they're connected by like one trait. If anything, it's just a slight nod in the way the world seems to be cyclical. Like, there are slight variations in the cycles. It might be a nod to Smo, but it seems more like coincidence. It's a cool idea, though. I actually just think he is a loving devotee of Queen Mytha, whose love was never reciprocated. His soul, or the Bone Scythe, mentions unrequited love for some beautiful queen, and that he never left this beautiful queen's side. So since Queen Mytha is up next, up in this level, it's probably just her. Oh, I'm surprised I was actually able to open that chest with both of the archers or crossbowmen raining bolts and or arrows down on me. Figured I would have gotten interrupted. God, oh, Jesus Christ, look at this shit. What is... My character was freaking out while they were ninja flipping around at the base of the ladder, because I was in the middle of the animation to go up it. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, you fell down, and... Let's see. Can I not take an arrow in the... Oh, I'm poisoned. Oh, that's much worse than what I thought was going to happen. I forgot they were poison-tipped arrows. I was worried about taking one little stray bolt in the back. Shouldn't have worried about that. That's fine, though. Still got some leftover poison cures. Gonna be getting poisoned a lot less now that I'm out of the valley. Let's see. Is there anyone else coming after me? Nope. Okay, so we will head through the fog, and at the beginning of the next episode, I will show something really cool off that I bet a lot of people missed that will make the boss fight in this area much easier. Until then, though, thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.